Okay, welcome to week 4 um, of CIT 225. I'm glad you guys are still with me. So this week, I'm going to do things a little differently. I don't have a lot of examples to show you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the assignment with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about joins on top of the video already posted, kind of go over them, and then walk you through some of the examples. I'll walk you through some lab questions and help you through them. So the big thing we're talking about this week is joins. And joins are the ability to connect multiple tables together and get the data out of them. It's probably the most important thing that a DBA developer does, because we like to have normalized data, which means we don't have just one table for everything. But we've got to link things together. And let's take a look at the assignment here. Okay. So, oh, you know what? I just realized you can't see that. So let me do my screen share. Let's see, screen share, and I want to look at, well, let's look at this first. Okay. Okay, so basically I just want to quickly cover the 3 basic types of joins that we talk about. The first one, let me move my picture here so you can see this a little better. The first one is what we call an inner join. An inner join is, I think in the previous video I explained that joins are a lot like Venn diagrams, and that's kind of where they live. So in an inner join, we have the data from table 1 and the data from table 2, and we only want the data that where they intersect, right there. So whatever column they're being matched on, being rental ID or member ID or contact ID or whatever ID contact, it can be anything you want. You can actually be like a last name column. We tend to use integers or ID columns because they're consistent. We know they're not duplicated, and it's just easier for the computer to sort them. So with an inner join, we're going to join table 1, inner join to table 2, on the column, whatever column name it is. So we're only going to take the area of information where the data is shared by the 2 tables. So, wherever the data is in common. Left joins are the next we're talking about. Now, in the left join, I did it both ways here, because left join is when it takes all the information from one table and only the information that matches from a second table. For example, let's say we're doing, let's say this table 1 is items, and this table 2 is rentals. And we're going to join everything on the item ID, okay? So in a left outer join, everything from the table on the left is returned, and only the things that match from the table on the right are returned. Meaning, if I had item IDs here that were never rented, like if I had like item IDs here and they don't show up in the table, they're still going to show up when I get my results, because they're going to show me everything from table 1, whether it has a match in table 2 or not, but it's not going to show me everything from table 2. There's 3 questions on the in the lab that talk about this, and we'll cover them. Right outer joins is the exact opposite. Everything from the table on the right. So here, that's the left table, and that's the right table. Left table, and that's the right table. Everything from left is returned, and only the things from the blue table that match are returned. And a full outer join, a full table join, is called full outer join, is when everything is returned. So whether it matches or not, it just throws everything at you. We very rarely ever do full joins, because just the data that comes out has no real consistency to it. So just, that's just for an FYI thing, as opposed to a here, use this. Okay, so let's take a look at this week's. Now, again, the other video I posted earlier this week has a much more in-depth explanation to this, so please refer back to that. That's where the majority of your information is going to come from on this. Okay, so let's take a look at this lab here. So I'm going to go through them, show you some code, so some ideas how to do this, point out any kind of errata that needs to be pointed out, and then leave you to your own devices on this one. I'll be available. I'm available any day. If you just contact me and say, hey, I need to talk to you for 20 minutes and set up a time, I can make myself available. Just keep in mind that I am on Eastern time, and usually around 8 p.m. is when I try to sign off for the day. So please keep in mind if you have any questions, I'm always available to talk to you. Okay, let's look at number 1. Using the following ERD, write a query, also known as a select statement, that returns the unique member ID column from the member table where you use the last name column of the contact table to find the distinct row in member. You should join the member table and the contact table by using the member ID column in both tables. Hint, use the distinct operator to reduce the rows to a single row. So this is just asking you simply to join the member table and the contacts table to get just the member ID column, and we want to join it on the member ID column. Now, a lot of people have had questions about this one. You'll notice that there's only one value here. They forgot to tell you, and I posted this earlier, that you want to find the value for the last name Sweeney. So make sure that you get that. So let's take a quick look on how we would write this. So if I want to write this as an inner join, let me do this here so I can just switch between the two. Okay. Let me go into my here. Okay. If I want to write inner join, what I'm being asked to do here, and I'm in K right here. There was a conversation about how to write queries in console. Don't write queries in console. They're difficult to port back and forth. Just write everything in K-Rate and then run the code from K-Rate like I showed you in week 1. Okay, let me grab this here. Let me grab this one here. Just grab this information so I have it in front of me here. Okay. So again, using the following ERD, write a query, also known as a select statement, to return the member ID. So when you're writing these, so remember we have select, from, and where. Okay, those are our 3 basic segments to a select statement. We know there's more. We know there's group by, having, count, all those other things. But for right now, it's just this. So here it's asking. So if you write this out and say select the member ID. So we want the member ID. Member ID. Okay. From. Well, let's need that there. So we're joining member, and we're joining contact. Where, and I told you, last name equals Sweeney. Okay, so the only thing left here to understand is, and we actually want to do this here too. They want the unique, so we need to do the distinct keyword. So the only question here is how are we going to do the join of the table? Now, in the previous week's lesson, we just did this. That is a simple, very simple C dot member ID equals M dot member ID. There we are. Okay, That was how I wrote it last time. It was just, we don't write the words inner join, we just put a comma there. It makes it an inner join and everyone's happy. But in these lessons, we're going to do very specific inner joins. So what we want to do here, and I'm writing this one query out for you. We're going to change this. We're going to drop down here in front of contract and type inner join. And instead of the word where, we're going to use the word on. Okay. So that's how we would write that query. Select distinct member ID from member inner join contract on member ID equals member ID, where C last name is Sweeney. And if we take this and drop it into console, oh, what did I do wrong here? Oh, you know what? I got too many spaces in here. Okay. Here we are. It returns the one value we're looking for. So when you work these out, your select statement is what they want returned. The from statement is what tables they're telling you to get it from. And the where clause narrows it down like we talked about before. But we're just dealing with inner joins here, so it can get a little complicated, particularly when we get to the last one where I think there's 5 joins. Let's look at the next question. Okay. Using the following ERD, write a query that returns the non-unique last name, account number, and credit card number columns from the contact and member tables. You must return the non-unique rows from the joins of the member and contact tables where you find the last name column value that matches the case insensitive Sweeney string. You should join the member and contact table by using the member ID column in both tables. So in this case, we're doing these. We're just taking this query here and just adding columns to it. We are just getting rid of distinct because it says non-unique. So we don't care about distinct anymore. And we're adding last name, account number, and credit card number. So, we're dropping member ID and we're adding last name, account number, and credit card number. So you just take this one and change those 3 things about it and you got the answer to number 2. And again, this is an ERD stands for entity relationship diagram. It just basically shows you the tables and how they're related. Here you can see the members table and the contacts table, and you can see that they are joined here by a foreign key, and the foreign key is the member ID column. Okay, so when we look at an ERD, it helps us to understand how the tables are linked, particularly as we're doing these questions here. We need to know, how these tables are linked, what columns I'm going to use for my joins. Okay, so again, step 2, exact same as step 1, just add a couple columns to it. Let's look at number 3. Using the following ERD, write a query that returns the last name, account number, and credit card number column values from contract and member tables. You turn the unique row from the join of the member and contact table where you find the last name column value that matches case sensitive Sweeney. You should join the member and the contact table by using member ID in both columns. So we're doing the same thing as the previous, but now we want the unique. We want the unique one, and we want it where the last name is case insensitive. Now, when they're saying case insensitive, if you remember back, we could do this. In front of the column name, and that way we can keep everything lowercase and not have to worry about being case sensitive. Remember, the data inside an Oracle table is case sensitive. So if you put this in without the lower, just lowercase Sweeney, it would return that there's no rows with that designation. Okay, so again, step 3, if RD returns the unique last name, account number, credit card number values from contract. So again, with this one, you're taking the query from 2, adding a distinct operator, and adding a where clause for the case insensitive Sweeney. And all you should get back is the one value. Okay, so a lot of these labs are just building on the previous query. So 1, 2, and 3 all use the same base query. You're just making minor changes. To 2, you're adding columns to the query from 1, and to 3, you're adding distinct and a where clause. So let's step 4. Okay, this is where it gets a little more interesting. So using the following ERD, write a query that returns the unique value. Again, it's unique, last name, account number, credit card number, and a concatenated city, state, province, and postal code column values. Take the last name from the contact table, the account number and the credit card number from the member table, and the city, state, and zip from the address table. So now we're taking the query from previous, we're taking the query from 3, and then we're adding another join to it. So I'll show you what that would look like here. So let's say I was using this one here. So now, get rid of this right now. So we've got the inner join member, inner join contact C, and now we want inner join address. Inner join. Now we're using inner joins on all of these because they're saying finding where everything matches. There is going to be a question where it says show me stuff that it doesn't match, and it'll get a little confusing there. So we're going to inner join. I think it was the address table. I can't remember really. Inner join the address table. And if we look at the ERD, here's our address table, address, contact, type. So we know we're going to join this on the contact ID. Okay. So do a.contact ID equals c.contact ID. Okay, and so we've got our 3-table join. So these 3 tables, I tried to do a diagram. It doesn't. The Venn diagram explanation doesn't work when you do multiple tables because it's all weird and multiple colors. I didn't try. So we're joining member to contact, and then we're taking that result set and then joining it to the address table using the contact ID. So we'll go back to the question here. So that's how you write a multi-table join, and you can join as many tables as you want. It doesn't make a difference. It does get confusing, and it's very easy to lose track of what's going on and get the results back all wonky. So when you do multi-table joins, you be careful. So the next thing is here. So last name, we've already got that query that does the last name. We've got a query that does all this. We just have to add into it the address table, but it says we want to concatenate city, states, and postal code. So keep in mind, our columns are city, state, province, city, state, province, and postal code. So keep in mind when we concatenate, it looks something like this. City, double bar, quote, comma, space quote, double bar, state, province, and so on. Remember, because we're concatenating the strings, and the double bar gives us the concatenation. So we want our query to look, our select for something like this. So it'd be, a.city, a.source province. Okay. So there's that. So we got that one going there. So yeah, so for this one, again, we're building on, get that query from 3, just bring it down, and we need to add the join to the address table, and then add the columns we're looking for with the distinct operator. And remember, we're looking for the case-sensitive Viscal. So we're not going to do the lower. We're not going to lower there. We're just going to make sure it says Viscal. We're going to spell it right with a capital V. Okay. Step 5. We're adding more tables. This is now just adding the street address. So we're doing the same thing as before. And now we're just adding another join. We're going to add an inner join to the street address table, and we're going to join it on address ID, because that's the only thing here that matches anything else is the address ID. Okay. And we're going to give the street address table we're going to do the street address column from the street address table and concatenate that with everything else from before. So these labs are just building and building and building upon each other. So it's important to get the first one right so you can keep going and building others. Okay. So that's good. We got that. Okay. So step 5, take the query from 4, add another inner join to the street address table, and then add the street address column and matches the case sensitive viscal. Okay, step 6. And I had asked you earlier in the week, I said, give me your questions for this video, and almost everyone had questions about the lab. That's why I'm doing this, just walk through the steps. Okay. Using the following ERD, write a query that returns 2 distinct last name account number columns and a third column composed of 3 columns from the address table and 1 column from the street address table. And now we're going to add a 4th column that includes area code and phone number. So now we are joining the telephone table, which is right here. We're going to join the telephone table on, we can do either the contact ID or the address ID. It's up to us, whichever one you want. Both will get you the same results. I think I joined mine on the contact ID because it was on a roll with the contact ID. You return the unique row from the join of these tables where you find the last name column matching the case sensitive viscal. The join results in the first 2 tables, the contract ID and so on. So I'm not going to go through this all this. So again, what we're doing, taking the query from step 5, adding a join to street address on the, adding a join to the contact table, adding a join to the telephone table through the contact ID or address ID, whichever you want to do, both would work. And also adding in a concatenated phone number. So you want to do area code and concatenate it into the actual phone number. Okay. So we're just this is getting meter and meters are going long. Now we start from a 2 table join, and now that we're at a 5 table join. Okay. And this is what the result will be. Just the one viscal with all this information here. Oh, you're going to notice that these are, as of step 7, these get kind of wonky. Just go ahead and make sure the correct, because this is last name, city, state, but so obviously this isn't what's going on here. Just fix that to make sure it works for you and what you're trying to do. Step 7. Using the step 6 ERD, rewrite the query to return all 8 member account rows. And all you need to do, and this is like this beautiful one, just remove the where clause. Get that query from step 6, bring it over here to me, take away the where clause, and your step 7 is done. That's a free one. That's a gimme. And there's your results are going to be. Step 8. Using the step 6 ERD, rewrite the query to return the 3 member accounts that have a rental. You should sort the result by last name in ascending order. You'll need to remove the where clauses from step 6 query and need to enable an outer join between the contact and rental tables that use the contact ID that is found in the contact and rental tables. So let's talk about this real quick. So what we want to do here, let's go back to the ERD here in 6. Now we want to know the 3 people who had a rental. We have the 3 people who had a rental. So let's look at the way these tables are structured. Let's go into rental. We don't have the rentals. We don't have the rental table here. Oh shoot, let me get the description of rental table up for you so you can see it. Okay. For some reason I thought that shows you the ERD with the rental table. I think it's down here. Is it down here? Okay. So we got rental table. So the rental table, we want to know, we're going to connect. The rental table has customer ID. It doesn't have contact ID. But we see this line here that's connecting rental to contact. That's because the customer ID column matches the contact ID column. So we can do where customer ID equals contact ID, because they'll be the same. They'll be the same matching number in there. So we want to know. So we look at this here, right? So the rental table does not have to have everyone from the contract table. The rental table is just telling people who rented stuff, right? So all we want here is we want to know whatever's in here. We don't care about what's in here at this point. We want to know who's rented something. Okay, so we're going to do a outer join. Let me see something here. Okay, so we want, so again, we want to write this. So now we're going to add from step 6, we're going to add the rental table into this. Go back up to here. To question 7 here. Okay, question 8. We're going to rewrite the query in step 6. We're going to add a outer join to the rental table. And because we care what's in the rental table and don't care about what's in the, keep on, I'm not going to tell you what kind of, you get 2 choices. It's not going to be a full join, I'll tell you that. It's either left join or right join. And only one way will give you the three rows you're going to get. So if you write it correctly and do the wrong join, it's going to give you 7 rows, and the correct join will give you the 3 you're looking for. So with step 8, we've got contracts joined to member ID. We got addresses joined to contact. We've got phone number attached to contact ID. We've got street address attached to contact, attached to addresses. And now we've got to join the rental table in an outer join, either left or right, and connect that to the contact ID table on the contact ID, where the so you're going to match customer ID to contact ID in an outer join situation, and nothing in the select statement changes. So in this, you're only adding the join. Adding the join. That's all you're doing. You're adding an outer join, left or right, you choose. Only one will get you the 3. Okay. Number 9. Using a step 6 ERD and step 8's query, rewrite the query to return the 8 member accounts that don't have a rental. Okay, so first of all, it's 5 rental accounts that don't have rental. So it's not 8, it's 5. And these are the 5. So you are going to now write a query based off of the step 8 query to figure out who has not had a rental. Now, let me give you an idea how this is going to work. You're going to use count. You're going to use group by, and you're going to use having. So without doing it for you, you're going to be getting the last name in your select is going to have the last name. It's going to have your member ID. Not your member ID. It's over here. Okay. You're going to have your account number, your address, and your telephone number. Account number, address, and telephone number. Right? You're going to take it from, but here you're also going to have okay, so if you want to put this here for now, just to see what's happening. You're going to do count. And in here, you're going to put the rental contact ID. Okay. So you can add this one in here. You can add the count for right now, because when it runs, you don't want it there anymore. Okay. So then you're going to do your from clause, and you're going to join members. You're going to join member to contacts. You're going to join address and street address. And you're going to join telephone. And you're going to join rental. Okay. So these will be these will be inner joins. This will be an inner join. This will be an inner join. This will be an inner join. This one, however, will be an outer join. And I'll let you figure out which one it is for yourself. It's not going to be full. It's going to be left or right. Okay. Now, then you're going to do a group by command. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing here about this. Remember, the address is city. This is what your concatenation for the, this comes out of address. So address city. So you're doing concatenation. You're doing an aggregation. You're doing an aggregate on the rental ID because you want to find out where it's 0, because we want the people who haven't had any rentals yet. So city, then state, province. Okay. And then zip code. So I'm showing you this because remember, if you're using any kind of aggregation, trying to get a count somewhere, and you don't have to have the count command here to have the aggregation. I just did put there for your own edification when you start looking at things. When you do your group by command, everything that's not being aggregated has to be in there. Okay, so when you do your group by command, you've got to do by c.last name. Okay, you've got to do it by m.account number. Okay, but the thing is, when you get to this concatenation, how are you gonna do that? So what you want to do is you literally just want to take this as is and drop it in your group by, exactly like that. Okay, you're gonna do that for your address, and you need to. So anytime you have any kind of concatenation or anything, you just put it in as is. You don't put the column name that you're making, the as column, whatever it is. You just put that actual part there. Okay. And you're gonna do. And I'll tell you this is gonna be having count r dot. It's gonna be r dot rental ID equals 0. This is rental ID too. I'm sorry, I got that. I'm just gonna do rental ID. Okay. So I know I'm being very cryptic and just kind of giving you frameworks and skeletons on how to do this. I don't want to, because I'm going to do this. You don't get it, do your best. I'm trying to have, but don't panic if you don't have still recording here. Okay, it's still recording, I think. I'm not sure. Something glitched here. I'm not sure what happens. I'll have to watch this and see what exactly happened, but we're still recording here. So let me get back to my screen here. My screen share. Okay. Okay, as I was saying, as you do these, don't, if you don't get it, it's not a big deal. We'll work through it. Show me what you have. I'll give you some ideas, some hints, tips, tricks to get through it. Okay. 9 and 10 are fairly confusing because you're writing these really long queries. So I know this is just a framework. So, you know, you take these information from 8, you're doing all these joins, you're doing outer join and rental. It's going to be left or right, your choice. One will return the right values and one won't. You need to have a group by because you need to concatenate. I'm sorry, you need to aggregate on all the columns to see the counts that are going to be there. And then having where the rental IDs, there's no rental IDs. You want the rental IDs to be 0. So you're concatenating on a rental ID. So you're aggregating on rental ID. Okay. So just give it a shot. Let's look at 10 real quick. Okay. And 10. Last one. Using the following ERD in step 8, rewrite the query to return the results from the member contact address, street address, telephone, rental, and rental item table, and items table, where you want to know who rented the Star Wars movies. Okay. So you're adding more joins. You're now going to add, so up till now you joined contract addresses, member contact addresses, street addresses, telephone, and rental. You are now going to join rental item, and you're now going to join item. And those are tables that will have the rental items. We'll see. Okay. So this one I do take time and really figure this out. I think that it's something that you can do. If you get lost, reach out to me, reach out to the TA. I'm confident that steps 1 through 8 are going to be very quick and simple. Steps 9 and 10 are going to prove to be challenging. Just work on the joins, and that's what they are. They're just here to teach you how to write these joins in the right way. So take the time, figure it out. If you can't get it, contact me, and I will help you through this. Good luck, and I will talk to you soon.